Hello and welcome to another video from Libertad Communications, Writers for Writers. You may not have noticed, but the more we become addicted to digital and social media, the less we tend to actually write. In fact, many people go for years without ever really writing anything, more than text, really. And so today I'm really excited to be joined by Carol Brennan, who's an expert on the therapeutic value of creative writing and journaling. She's also writing a book, so I'm really looking forward to getting her tips on getting the most out of the writing process. So if you're interested in creative writing and its therapeutic benefits, stay with me too. Hang on, I'm just setting this up. Stay with me to the end of the video as Carol will be giving away some free sessions to business owners. Welcome, Carol. Can you hear me
Thank you.
okay now?
Yes,
Still
I can.
working?
Yeah.
That's a small miracle. So what we've got there is your web page there
Mhm.
for everybody that it would be
Mhm.
interested. I'll just put that up on. Make sure that you visit journalwithcarol.com. Okay, Carol, I've got a list of questions here that
Okay.
I've been absolutely
Mhm.
bursting to ask you. And the first of them is, how did you get involved in journaling? In fact, it'd probably be a good idea if you told us what it is. What is journaling and how did you get involved in it?
Well, journaling is, there are different definitions, but I see it as a personal form of writing. So it's different to creative writing where you're writing a story, but it can include that, but it's mainly a personal form of writing, personal to you. It can either be through a prompt or just like what we call free writing,
Hmm.
where you're just writing whatever thoughts come into your head. I got into it. Well, I'd always loved to write, and I remember getting a dinky diary when I was 7. But when I really got into journaling was after a breakdown when I was 23. I went to creative writing classes, and the lecturer there recommended the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Hmm.
And she recommended in that book 3 pages of long form journaling by hand. So that was how I basically got started, and then I did prompts and things. Um, I've worked as a writer as well, and I was kind of looking for a new direction with my business. So when I came across the Centre for Journal Therapy, that did courses in journaling, um, and they mainly teach people how to be journal facilitators.
Hmm.
I thought this could be a good avenue for me to go down. And so I'm nearly finished. I've got, I think, about a year left of that course, and then I'll be qualified to do that. Um, I do run, then I'll be certified to do it, but I do run journaling courses and do coaching at the moment, yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. Did you write before if you don't mind me saying, before your
Mm,
breakdown, or was that
Not
something that
so
you started?
much. It was something that I did afterwards.
Hmm.
Because I had a job in a call centre and it was horrible. I hated it, and I ended up leaving that and going on sick leave. Um, So I didn't really know what to do. I knew I didn't want to go back to that work. So journaling allowed me to kind of forge a new path, if you like.
Mm-hmm. Hang on. So that really begs the question: is what have you found are the benefits of journaling?
Well, I work mainly with business owners, and I find that they get better business results and growth. They get to identify their priorities. They bring the right energy into their work, and they save time by avoiding mindset blocks like
Mm-hmm.
procrastination, self sabotage, and mindset wobbles.
Mm-hmm. It's quite interesting because
Mhm.
I have worked in the offshore
Mhm.
industry
Mhm.
as an engineer, as a
Mhm.
technical writer, and
Mhm.
a lot of the other thing is I don't know if it's relevant, but I used to teach diving,
Mhm.
and I learned that people learn and think in different ways,
Mhm.
and some people think visually, and I for one, have certainly within the
Mhm.
writing process, I have
Mhm.
to write things out, structure
Yeah.
things, and prioritize, and I couldn't function with that. So I think it's
Mhm.
really exciting
Mhm.
what you're doing there.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it's how we process information, and you get new insights through journaling, I think.
mhm.
One thing that I do is I use what's called the inner mentor. So it's like a future version of you, and we do a dialogue with that. And a lot of times, what will come out of that is quite surprising, actually.
Yeah, that's really
Mhm.
cool. So, how often do you recommend journaling? I mean, how often do you journal? Do you journal every day? I mean,
I
how does that
journal
work?
usually every day, sometimes twice a day. It doesn't have to be done for a long periods of time, that can be a few minutes. Um, I would recommend, if you're just starting, try and journal like every day, or most weekdays, say, for just a couple of minutes each day, and make it part of your routine, like brushing your teeth.
Hmm.
Um, and also to use a prompt as well, because that can be quite good, rather than going here, there, and everywhere. It can be more contained if you use a prompt.
Did you find that I mean, do you write digitally? Do you write on a computer,
No,
or do you write on a book, or on a?
I,
'Cause I
I
love to have like really nice looking books, you know, some of those
mhm,
that you can get with really nice binders on, and it makes
yeah.
it more fun. With a night, my
Mhm.
wife bought me a really nice pen, and you know, it's seen. Do you find that helps that people use tools that inspire them?
Yeah, although I would say sometimes with fancy journals, people are afraid to write in them. So if that applies to you, just get a cheap notebook
Hmm.
and just start scribbling. Um, yeah, people, yeah. I think I do it written, but if you're struggling, it's better to do type than not do it at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So just do whatever works best for you. There are some people say, like for example, Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way is quite kind of strict about it has to be written,
Hmm.
but if you're not going to do it at all, then it's better um, to do it digitally than not at
So,
all. Yeah.
so it's
Mhm.
getting to it to be a habit.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Do you find, you know, like for instance, my what I was always rubbish at.
Mhm.
I was always a writer. I could always write.
Mhm.
It was just
Mhm.
something I could do. I just
Mhm.
always loved language and writing. Uh, but I've always been rubbish at spelling and really rubbish at crosswords. And my wife, she loves crosswords. Her mum loves
Mhm.
crosswords, and she sort of got me into it. And then
Mhm.
I found that it was just a way of thinking. Do you
Mhm.
find that doing the journaling helps people sort of notice how they think, notice how what's going on inside of them? And I think
Yeah.
that's part of the process of being a good writer is noticing this inner
Yeah,
life.
definitely. Definitely. It definitely helps awareness. And especially if you're in business, it's important to know what's going on with you, especially if you're a coach, a counsellor, or a therapist. You'll
Hmm.
want to do that sort of reflective writing. So that's quite important, yes.
Okay, and have you found that it's helped you change the way that you think? So I've got a bit of a tangent.
Yes, uh-huh. Um, Yeah, it's given me a lot of insights, especially with like things like self belief.
Hmm.
It's helped me in, for example, when I had my breakdown, it helped me sort out what was a rational thought and what was a fear based thought.
Hmm.
So it definitely does help you sort out your thinking, yes.
Excellent. So it's sort of got a business benefit, but it also has a
Yeah,
very personal benefit.
yeah, definitely.
Do you, I know what most people will be thinking, do you only work with women entrepreneurs or do you work with men as well? So I
I've
know
just
your
started,
website is skewed that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I've started to work with men as well, so yes, uh-huh.
Oh, that, I'm sure they'll be pleased with that. So the other question that sprung to my mind is, are there any journaling apps that people could use on their phone or would you recommend they just use like Word or Page or something on their phone?
I think there are apps you could, I would look in the App Store or Google Play. I
Hmm.
don't use apps myself, but one thing you could do is like the habit tracker apps that
Yeah,
you tick,
yeah. Hmm.
um, you tick it off when you do it. You
Hmm.
could do that, or like I know somebody mentioned one app to me, but I can't remember what it's called just now off the
Hmm.
top of my head. Just because I don't use apps myself,
Hmm.
but if that helps you, then definitely use them. Yeah.
So I don't think I've asked you this. Stop me if I
Mhm.
have. But if somebody's listening and thinking, you know what,
Mhm.
I really should write more than
Mhm.
text speak. I should actually
Mhm.
start thinking about writing. What would be your best tips to help them get into it?
Well, have a time and put it into your routine as well. And as I said, use a timer. Use a prompt that inspires you and try and find a subject that inspires you because that will keep you going back to the page. Um, and as I said, if you're sort of intimidated by a fancy journal, just use. You could even start on scrap bits of paper. You don't have to keep them. You
Hmm.
can. There's one technique called the unsent letter, where you write to somebody you have strong emotion with, and
Right.
then what you can do is just rip it up at the end. So um, I know that my mentor, Kathleen Adams, recommends keeping everything you write. I don't do that
Hmm.
because I would have a warehouse full by now. I keep like certain things and I'll go through them every so often to see where I was and where I could be.
I, mu-
Um,
I must admit, I've got books that go back years with
mm,
notes and notes for writing, story ideas. You're probably right. I should get rid of them. God knows when I go, I think somebody's going to have a real problem getting rid of that.
I'm
I'm
leaving all my journals to one of my nieces.
That's beautiful, beautiful. I'll just do a transition, and then I want to really ask you about your experiences with Casa and
Okay.
the creative writing course there.
Okay.
Just a second.
Post. Happy boy.
Trying to share this screen.
Post. Happy boy.
The first hurdle there. Hang on, let's see. Get it onto one of these. This will be easier. Get that over to there. Oh, well, I was doing so well. I was sort of really quite impressed with myself. Right, it's the sharing the screen that gets you. Right, so Casarana, let's try again. So this is Casarana for anybody that doesn't know, which is a beautiful place up in the Alpujarras. Let me see if I can just change this sizing and get that to change. There we go. So you went to Casarana, I believe. When was that, Carol?
I think it was before the pandemic. I think it might have been 2018, and
Okay.
it was with what was her name?
I've got some people here.
Mary.
Mandy Wheeler,
No, it wasn't
Sarah
Mandy.
May.
Nope.
Any of
Oh,
these? Does
I
that look
think
familiar?
was it Mary? It was a hyphenated name, Mary something.
Okay.
Mary, can't remember.
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
It was
So they work
a
with.
2 week thing.
Okay,
that I
and you
went
work
to.
with that one writer. Is that?
Yes.
And what did you think of that? What did you think of? Was that your first time in the
Yes.
Alpujarras?
Yeah, it was colder than down here. I'm in Fingarola just now. Yeah, it was colder than down here. I enjoyed it though. It was a nice pace and everything. So
You're in
um
Francarola at the moment. I thought you was in
yeah,
Scotland.
I'm based in Scotland, but I'm taking a 5 week holiday to Fuengirola. So
We're just
this
up the mountain from you. I didn't
oh
realise. Yeah, we're in the mountains above you. We'll have to get
ah
together for a coffee. Should have love to
yeah
meet you. Oh, that's cool.
oh
Yeah, do you know what? This has been the absolute. Hang on a minute, you're over there. It's been the absolute coldest
mm,
winter. I don't know about this
mm,
climate change. I wish we could get some,
yeah,
but yeah, it's a lot
warmer than
colder.
in Scotland.
Well, yeah, that's true. Okay, let me get rid of that and go to that, and then we can go back over to there. Okay, so I did mention at the beginning of the video that you will be giving away to business
Yes.
owners a free what is that, like a consultation type thing?
It's a 30-minute journal breakthrough call, so
Hmm.
it's basically to allow you to inventory your business and life, and then if you want to, there are steps you can take further with me. So yeah.
Okay, I've had a quick look at your courses, and they look like they really are well worth the investment.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Okay, Carol, is there anything that you would like to add, or something I've not covered or not asked you that you'd like to
Um,
mention?
Let me have a look through my notes. No, I think we've probably covered it. I think we've covered it all. Thanks.
Hang on a sec. I've made a right stuff of that. Okay, well, thanks ever so much for your time, Carol.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get a chance to meet up for a coffee. We'll be in Fuengirola next week.
Okay. I go back on next Friday though.
Oh, we'll make a point of it if you get the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thanks ever so much. Thanks very much for Writers for Writers. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you, as Carol is one of our beta readers, and so she'll be a fixture, I'm sure. So thanks ever so much
Thank
for your
you.
time, and I'll just try and cut this off in a vaguely professional manner. You take care. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Morning Post. Morning Post. Happy boy.